They hung out all the time. Bryer never had Kam stay at his mom's house or his grandmother's. He was always at Kam's place, or they had a few other close friends, and they'd have their campouts and all that. I don't know much. I don't want to offend Kam's family, okay? So I know they're hurting as much as I am. I know they're very confused. All I can say is my son did not have any real guns. My son did not have a vehicle. My son does not know how to drive. He was very introverted, and he was very heavy into video games. When he came to work for me for the summer, I didn't pay him. I just had a very expensive custom-made computer for him, which he was quite content with. You know, he wasn't into the ones where, you know, you have your machine gun and go shooting people. He was more into strategy, where you move your troops here and there. So his influences haven't been good. His influences have been YouTube and video games. They never got in trouble with the law. They never got into fights. You know, they were just hanging out and having a good time. They weren't scrappers. They weren't cursers. You know, they didn't go play Mr. Man like Macho. No, they were just everyday, regular kids. But both of them have to have a lot of pain inside. Both of them. They had told me that the Walmart jobs just weren't cutting it. They were going to go to Alberta and make some proper money. I believe that's what they were going to do, and I was absolutely flabbergasted to learn that 2 days later, and I found this out from the paper, that they were up in the Yukon. But initially, it looked like they were victims as well, right? Initially. And it's really tough for me to see in the paper today photos of them alive and well in Saskatchewan. So I know they're not lost in the woods. That's incredibly hard to deal with. A normal child doesn't travel across the country killing people. A child in some very serious pain does. Mounties are going to shoot first and ask questions later. Basically, he's going to be dead today or tomorrow. I know that. I would say, rest in peace, Bryer. I love you. I'm so sorry all this had to happen. I'm so sorry that I couldn't rescue you.
In the summer of 2019, two young men embarked on a chilling journey that would capture the world's attention. Kam McLeod and Bryer Schmegelsky, childhood friends from Canada, set off on a road trip that would ultimately end in their tragedy. Their dark journey began on July 15th when they were suspected of killing three people, Lucas Fowler, Chynna Deese, and Leonard Dyck, in what appeared to be random acts of violence. This is the case of the 2019 Northern British Columbia killing spree. A nationwide manhunt for the suspects was initiated by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police between July 23rd and August 7th, when three people were discovered dead in northern British Columbia. Sydney, Australia, capital of South Wales, a beautiful place to live, known for their opera house with a distinctive sail-like design. It was home to Lucas Fowler, who was born on September 30th, 1995. He grew up in Hornsby, Sydney. He was the son of the South Wales Police Chief, Stephen Fowler, and his wife, Shannon Fowler. He was the youngest of four, to siblings Jacob, Isaac, and Savannah. Lucas grew up in a happy, healthy household. Family and friends described him as friendly, thoughtful, and adventurous, with a great sense of humor. Lucas loved the outdoors, such as camping, hiking, and riding his dirt bike. He developed a passion for travel, backpacking around the world for 2 years. He spent some time in Croatia, where he met Chynna Deese, who was born on January 25, 1995, in North Carolina, to parents Dwayne and Sheila Deese. She studied at the Appalachian State University, and just like Lucas, she had a deep passion to explore and travel the world. This is in fact how they met while out on their adventures in Croatia. Both young and passionate with so much in common, they fell in love. With Lucas living in Australia and Chynna residing in North Carolina, the distance between them wasn't going to be a problem. Lucas applied for a work visa immediately in Canada. After all, he couldn't deny what he was feeling for Chynna. He absolutely adored her, as she did him. They both couldn't wait to see each other again. The couple spent their first Christmas together in North Carolina, at Chynna's place in the U.S. After the New Year, Lucas left for Canada to work on a ranch and spent most of his downtime talking to Chynna on the phone every chance he got. She eventually came to see him in Canada as they grew closer. It was during this time the two came up with a travel idea, with both of them having a burning desire to see the world and some money saved up. After about a week of deliberating, they packed up and loaded their blue van. Destination, Leo Hot Springs, for some good Canadian outdoors adventure, and they were excited. They said their goodbyes to the rancher and hit the road. On the evening of July 13th, 2019, CCTV at petroleum station captured Lucas and Chynna stopping for food and fuel. Lucas and Chynna sharing a hug on CCTV. A 1986 blue Chevy van that took a little while for him to fix. I sometimes remind people to hug their loved ones for the simple fact that tomorrow isn't promised, and they were doing just that. It would be the last time that anyone saw them together, and just 36 hours later, the two would be found dead. The following day, on the 14th of July, about 20 kilometers south of Leon Hot Springs, the van Lucas and Chynna were traveling in broke down. Being the outdoors lovers that they were, they decided to camp out right where they were until Lucas could work out the vehicle's issues. At 3:20 p.m., a mechanic by the name of Curtis Broughton happened to be driving down the same Alaskan highway that Lucas and Chynna broke down at. They stopped to check on him, but Lucas waved them along, assuring Curtis that he had it under control. The couple were picnicking while waiting for the van to unflood. Lucas assured Curtis that he knew what he was doing, and they waved each other goodbye. At 7 a.m. the next morning, Lucas and Chynna were found face down in a ditch, dead, laying 5 feet from each other. Police found 5 shell casings. The windows were smashed out. The back doors were open. The community was stunned. When word got back to both families, they were devastated. 2 fun-loving, adventurous young adults who tragically lost their lives in what appeared to be cold-blooded murder while on their road trip, something that they were both looking forward to. But then things take a turn for the worse when 5 days later, on July 19th, a burnt-out pickup truck was discovered south of the Stikine River Bridge, Highway 37. The body of Vancouver resident Leonard Dyck was found 2 kilometers south of the vehicle fire with similar circumstances as Fowler and Deese. Kam McLeod and Bryer Schmegelsky were initially reported as missing persons, as it was revealed that they were operating the pickup before it was destroyed. The RCMP believed there was a possible link between the missing persons and the murder victims in British Columbia. On July 23rd, a burning Toyota RAV4 was found near Fox Lake, Cree Nation, north of Gillam, Manitoba, believed to be driven by the missing pair. Following this discovery, the RCMP sought second-degree murder charges against McLeod and Schmegelsky in relation to the British Columbia killings. After the case received nationwide attention, a resident of Cold Lake, Alberta, reported helping 2 younger males who had their RAV4 stuck on July 21st. Later that same day, the pair was captured by video surveillance at a store in Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan, the footage of which was turned into the police days later. The manhunt was on. They went unnoticed during a routine alcohol checkpoint by Tatasquayak, Cree Nation, constables in Split Lake, Manitoba. They were eventually released and was marked as the last confirmed sighting of the suspect as of July 22nd. By July 24th, the RCMP deployed the Emergency Response Team, a crisis negotiation team, air services, and K-9 units to Gillam and its surrounding areas. A checkpoint was set up with heavily armed officers canvassing the area. The RCMP acknowledged an inhospitable environment with dense forest, swampy terrain, and wild animals. On August 7th, RCMP in northern Manitoba found the bodies of Kam and Bryer in thick brush close to the Nelson River. By August 12th, autopsies confirmed self-inflicted gunshot wounds. The pair recorded their goodbyes in which they also confessed to the murders. They gave no motive and expressed no remorse for the killings. It's always heartbreaking when young people lose their lives. Lucas and Chynna lived every day as if it would be their last day on Earth. They will forever be young, free spirits, still traveling, together forever.